What started as a star-studded mission to space has spiraled into one of the most embarrassing PR disasters of Katy Perry's entire career. Rumors of a savage Simpsons parody are spreading like wildfire, and insiders say Katy is scrambling to stop it before it airs. But why are fans and critics turning against her? And did Blue Origin just make a billion-dollar mistake? Stick around, because the truth behind Katy's astronaut moment is weirder and messier than anyone expected. Katy Perry's involvement in the Blue Origin spaceflight was billed as a defining moment not just for her career, but for modern pop culture itself. The announcement was hyped across every platform. Instagram teasers, late-night talk show cameos, branded live streams, and cryptic tweets from Jeff Bezos himself. Katy wasn't just going to space, she was going to redefine what it meant to be a modern-day icon, according to one overly eager press release. The public was intrigued, but also confused. Why Katy? What did she have to do with space travel? The answer, according to sources close to Blue Origin's PR team, was simple: reach. Katy had the kind of global visibility that could draw millions of eyes to a mission otherwise doomed to niche headlines. She was a calculated risk, and initially, it worked. Footage of her boarding the rocket, dressed in a custom pastel flight suit, hugging Lauren Sanchez, and nervously smiling at the cameras, went viral. Her pre-flight interviews were spiritual and a bit dramatic. "I want to feel what the Earth feels like from above," she said. "I want to touch the stars with love." 11 minutes later, she was back on the ground, hugging her team, crying, clutching a single daisy she'd brought on board as a symbol of peace and innocence. She declared herself reborn, but within hours, the internet had a different reaction. They laughed, TikTok exploded with parody videos. Twitter users mocked the Daisy moment. Headlines went from "Katy Perry makes history in space" to "Katy Perry makes history" as a meme. And in the writing rooms of The Simpsons, creative gears started turning. For decades, The Simpsons has taken pride in lampooning pop culture icons at the peak or unraveling of their fame. And Katy Perry's space mission had all the ingredients of a classic send-up: high ambition, strange symbolism, and a dramatic public meltdown. Leaked rumors from inside the animation department suggest that the show's writers were immediately interested in parodying the spaceflight. Early sketches reportedly depicted a character named Katy Comet, a pink-haired, daisy-clutching pop star who volunteers to go to space for the wrong reasons: fame, healing, and Instagram content. One storyboard allegedly shows her floating, helplessly in zero gravity, screaming because her lip gloss tube escaped and entered orbit. Another shows a parody of Lauren Sanchez struggling to keep Katy focused while she insists on doing yoga mid-flight to connect with cosmic femininity. The show allegedly doesn't just poke fun at the spaceflight, it references actual sound bites from Katy's post-flight interviews. "I saw the whole world, and I felt her heartbeat," the animated Katy says in one scene, as Lisa responds, deadpan, "I think that was just turbulence." And it's not just a gag episode, it's mean, smart, and surgical in its targeting. This wasn't just going to be a parody, it was going to be a cultural moment. And as soon as word reached Katy's inner circle, the countdown to damage control began. Sources close to Perry say the reaction was immediate and explosive. As soon as her team confirmed The Simpsons were planning the episode, they launched a furious campaign to shut it down, or at least soften it. Lawyers reached out to Fox. Agents made calls. Emails labeled "urgent Katy Perry misrepresentation" were fired off across Hollywood. The argument? That the episode was defamatory, exaggerated, and designed to cause harm. Not satire, but sabotage. Behind closed doors, Katy reportedly took it personally. She'd poured genuine emotion into the spaceflight experience, hoping it would reframe her as a spiritual, reflective artist after years of being seen as a candy-coated pop caricature. Instead, she was being reduced to a joke. Again. And this time, in front of a global audience that had already been skeptical of her transformation. Fox, however, wasn't budging. And in fact, sources suggest the controversy only emboldened the Simpsons team. The more Katy's camp tried to control the narrative, the more determined the writers became to push boundaries. It became a classic Hollywood standoff, the powerful pop star versus the satirical institution that no one has successfully sued or silenced in over 30 years. And in the background, public opinion was starting to split. In Katy's mind and her team's carefully crafted PR strategy, the spaceflight was supposed to represent a reinvention. This was her Joanne era, her lemonade moment, a bold pivot into artistry, reflection, and something more profound than chart-topping singles. But the public didn't see transcendence. They saw a tone-deaf celebrity stunt. The timing didn't help. The flight came just weeks after global unrest, mass layoffs, and climate-related disasters. For millions, watching a mega-rich pop star tearfully describe feeling the heartbeat of Earth during a glorified suborbital joyride felt deeply out of touch. The FAA's clarification that passengers on Blue Origin flights don't technically qualify as astronauts was the final nail. Suddenly, the headlines changed again. From Katy Perry, space hero, to Katy Perry, not actually an astronaut. It didn't take long before the daisies she brought on board became the butt of the joke. Late-night monologues compared her to a kindergarten art teacher lost in space. TikTokers started a trend called the Space Cry Challenge, where users fake cry while talking about stardust and unity. Instead of empowerment, Katy got embarrassment. And the worst part? It wasn't just trolls or tabloids, it was mainstream culture turning on her. As the parody episode neared production, things got legal. Fast. Multiple reports suggest Katy's legal team sent cease and desist letters to Fox, warning of reputational harm and unfair portrayal. They cited past mental health struggles, argued that the episode crossed ethical boundaries, and even floated the idea that airing it could impact ongoing endorsements. But Fox has faced bigger threats. And The Simpsons is protected under decades of precedent. Parody, even harsh parody, is legally fair game, so Katy pivoted. Internally, her PR team began drafting a counter-campaign, a Netflix-style documentary featuring her raw reflections on the space mission, behind-the-scenes footage of training, and intimate interviews with scientists, family members, and even Jeff Bezos himself. They wanted to reclaim the narrative, to paint her as a pioneer, not a punchline, but some on her team pushed back. They argued the doc would look desperate, overproduced, too polished to feel authentic. If you fight this too hard, one advisor reportedly said, you risk proving the parody right. It was a classic PR paradox. Speak up and you look fragile. Stay silent and you let others define your story. Meanwhile, the episode kept moving forward. The cultural response was nothing short of explosive. Katy's fans, her core, Katy Cats, rallied to her defense. They flooded comment sections, posted edits of her spaceflight with inspirational quotes, and framed the backlash as part of a larger pattern: society tearing down powerful women for expressing vulnerability. But critics weren't buying it. Popular YouTubers, commentators, and even mainstream journalists began dissecting the stunt. They pointed to the heavy sponsorships, the branded content, and the awkward attempt to sell spiritualism in a pre-packaged influencer style. More damning were leaked. Emails allegedly showing her team pre-approving interview questions and scripting post-flight reflections. The narrative of authenticity was cracking. Even some celebrities joined in. Joe Rogan joked on his podcast that Katy went to space and came back with feelings instead of data. Elon Musk liked a tweet calling her a galactic tourist. And according to a source at a Bezos-hosted party, Jeff himself made a tongue-in-cheek comment. Maybe next time we send Snoop, he'd handle the zero G's better. Suddenly, Katy wasn't just a pop star. She was a punchline in elite circles. If the reports are accurate, the Simpsons episode is brutal and brilliant. Katy Comet spends the episode making a mess of space. She loses her helmet, floats through the station chasing a butterfly. Hallucination. Insists the moon is feminine-coded. She gives an impassioned speech about starseeds and planetary empathy, only to accidentally unplug life support mid-monologue. The episode ends with her returning to Earth, stepping off the rocket and declaring, "I saw love in the darkness of space." Cue Marge muttering, "That explains why she didn't see." The asteroid, it's sharp, cruel, hilarious, and painfully on brand for The Simpsons. Fox reportedly plans to air the episode during Sweeps Week with massive promotion. And once it hits, it may be impossible for Katy to recover the original narrative. Will Katy Perry be able to stop The Simpsons from airing the episode? Or will trying to fight the parody only cement her downfall? From cosmic dreams to cartoon disasters, Katy's Blue Origin flight was supposed to be a milestone moment. Instead, it's becoming a meme-stained cautionary tale, a reminder that no amount of branding can outpace the internet. And as the world waits for The Simpsons to strike, Katy's journey may not be remembered for its inspiration, but for the fallout that followed. What do you think? Was Katy unfairly targeted, or did she fly too close to the sun? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, bye.